Greetings, YouTube. This is Fragments of Memory, aka the Armchair Philosopher. Now, I was in the bookstore the other day, Barnes and Noble, and I was looking through the current affairs section, and I came upon this book where it was done by a conservative writer, and he was congratulating Ronald Reagan on being this wonderful, strong leader. And I just began to really think. I got the wheels in my head turning, and I started asking, why is it important for a politician to appear a certain way? Not whether he is a certain way, but why is it important for him to appear a certain way? Whether he gives the appearance of some form of strength, some form of courage or wisdom. Why is that so important? Or even his religious sentiment or affiliation. Like, why is that so important that he have the appearance of those things, whether or not he actually is those things? I recognize that politicians serve as leaders, whether it's a congressman, a mayor, a president, whatever. The politician, whether it be a president or a mayor, they go to the voting booths and make votes. They go to they bring forth laws. They write policies which make laws and create laws for people to follow. But does any of that person's image have anything to do with their qualifications of how to run a city, a municipality, or even a country? And mind you, when politicians make decisions, it's not usually carried out by the politician. Like, you won't see, like, Ronald Reagan didn't pick up one gun to fight in the military. Neither did George Bush. Neither did Bill Clinton or even Barack Obama. No disrespect to any of those presidents, but none of them were military men. These were men. I think Clinton was a draft dodger, and Bush got a little Coast Guard position, so he wouldn't have to serve in the military. And I find it very funny that, number one, a politician is simply that, a politician. I've done a video on it before. A politician is as a politician does, and we still, number one, we get self-righteous when they make certain political moves. We accuse them of doing things only out of political expediency. And I think we need to get our heads out of our posteriors. Let's keep it real. A politician's job is to, well, politic. And I also realize that when we vote for someone, we're not really voting for their voting record or the laws that they've put into practice or bills that they've supported. Usually, we vote for them due to the appearance of virtue or the appearance of strength or the appearance of courage and wisdom and religious sentiment. So we basically vote with our feelings. I find that very funny. Just like buying, voting is made with emotions. Because when a person's running for office and they're on the campaign trail, they're really trying to sell you. I mean, they want you to vote for the politician, but they first have to sell you on the idea of that politician. Ideas are what is being sold. Now, I took an advertising class when I went to community college, and it was interesting that when we looked at commercials and when we talked about commercials, we realized that we're trying to sell you an idea, or that was what was being taught to me. We're trying to sell you an idea. For example, we try to associate the politician with patriotism or religion or strength in our country or faith and patriotism and all that good stuff. Faith in our country, faith in God. We try to link that politician having those values and equating them with said values. We often like to, just as we try to associate a product with an idea or an idea with having a product, like that's the power of Pine Sol, and Pine Sol is deemed as doing all these amazing things, even though it's just cleaner. But we try to get your ideas to associate good feelings about that cleaner. In the same way we do this with the politician. The politician as a product. The politician is a product that is trying to be sold to the American public. And of course, behind him is a big PR and advertising machine, where that machine goes, Hey, do this, kiss the babies. That way you'll look like a family man. Walk out with your family so you look like a family man. Hold the Bible. Go to church. Have people see you going inside of a church. I also want to point out that Richard III in the Shakespeare play, Richard III also did such things. And in a sense, the politician tries to make himself a symbol. If you look at primal tribes, primitive tribes, quote unquote, there's a symbology and mythology that goes along with it to try to get people in the mindset and the psychology of that politician. Symbols have united people for centuries, and the politician plays on this again, on the emotions, on the ideals of the people. So I wonder, even if that politician didn't really have a record, or even if that politician wasn't all that great, but we voted for him because of how he made us feel. I mean, what if I was running for office and I wasn't semi-articulate. I wasn't even close to being semi-articulate. I was just straight inarticulate, blabbing and filled with a lot of gibberish. But because I made you feel good and gave the appearance of affluence, or gave the appearance of whatever the idea you wanted to cling to, that you would vote for me. And then I also want to look at the fact that, just like products, you can't please everybody. So, and again, it goes back to the mint cherry Garcia ice cream comparison, or it goes to, I prefer the chicken wings over at Wingstop as opposed to Buffalo Wild Wings, or whatever the case might be. But yet the politician tries to please everyone in order to get votes. Um, Sometimes I think people, when they vote for someone, or when a politician makes a speech, it's merely an affirmation of beliefs or a worldview that someone espouses. And I recognize that politics is a dance within itself. That a it's not just going in a booth and voting. There is so many subtle levels and layers and facets of politics that sometimes I think the everyday public doesn't understand and doesn't respect. And that politicians do have a hard job. That uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Meaning, hey, if you're in a position of leadership, it's not an easy job, and we're very quick to criticize sitting on the sidelines. It's harder to be in the fray, doing it. That separates the children from the adults, so to speak. The politician is entrenched daily in what they do, and politics is a subtle and a tricky game. Unfortunately, a lot of our info does come from the mainstream media, which the media often resorts to sensationalism in order to push our buttons so we can react. And we react a whole heck of a lot. And then pundits kind of keep the flames going because they want to get on TV and get their faces out there and sell books and go on lecture tours. And that rakes in the dough for them. So I can understand how, and many times, many of us take our cues and clues from the pundit and from the commentator, from the opinion editorialist, and we don't really sit down and do our own thinking about things. Now, I see my time is running down because I really want to give this somewhat of a fair treatment. So I'm going to do part 2 in just a bit. Take care.